think I have a dilemma and I have to make a decision that I didn't want to make, but I think it's obvious that that's the only choice I really have. Hi guys, so I've been meaning to do this video to give you some updates, and I'm on my way to sort out some pregnancy matters, so I thought this would be a good time to just share the updates. First of all, let me say thank you to everybody who has been on this journey with me so far. Really appreciate all the support. It has truly been a good experience, you know, it has been a positive experience. So outside of my physical issues, you know, the illnesses and everything, it has been, in terms of support, it has been pretty positive. The honeymoon phase of the pregnancy, that's what they refer to as the, well, in the second trimester they refer to that as the honeymoon phase, which is where I am now in the second trimester. So I am okay. I am not in pain and sick and like I was before. I do have a lot of, like, my belly just gets really stiff at night, like my belly almost like it drops at nighttime, and it just really stiff and feel uncomfortable. But outside of that, generally speaking, I'm okay. So that's the first update on how I'm doing now. Second thing now, in terms of the delivery. So remember I was telling you guys that I really don't want to go through this alone, and I want to check out going private. Well, I did. I checked it out. So I called Nuttall first, and basically they were saying like I would have to be seeing one of their obstetricians from, you know, or throughout the pregnancy in order to do the delivery there. So based on that, it just didn't seem possible. Like, I guess I was probably too pregnant by this to start, or maybe I would have to try to find one of their private doctors that they use or something. I don't know, but it just didn't seem very, I didn't get the impression when I called that it was very practical at this point, or very possible at this point. So I crossed that one off the list. Then I called Andrews Memorial, and they were able to give me an idea, just an idea of the price, but it was pretty similar in terms of that I would have had to be seeing a doctor who has privileges for Andrews Memorial, right? So me living in St. Anne, that's not something very easy for me to do, because it means that I would have to have been traveling into Kingston from the get-go for my appointments and so on, right? So that would not only be expensive, but would have been very difficult for me because of the pregnancy at the time, especially in the early stages, to manage that amount of traveling. That would have been difficult, because even the times when, like, I went to do a PriceSmart haul or so, you guys wouldn't even have known then, but the last PriceSmart haul that I did, when I went and even coming back just vomiting and all of that, so it would have been really difficult. So as I told you, I was going to the public clinic here, right, in St. Anne. So Andrews gave me an idea of the price. $300,000 for natural delivery and $600,000 for a C-section. That's like the basic price. It can go up, it can go down, because that's like the basic. So let's say, for example, I decided to get an epidural. I guess that would cost more, or whatever else came with it, you know, whatever medications they would have had to use or whatever, and depending on the amount of days that I spend there, I don't know. But that was like just an idea, which to me, to be honest, is a bit expensive. I also asked the lady that I spoke to on the phone if she had any idea what on average the health card would pay, because I don't have my own insurance with my company. I closed out my insurance that I had with my employer because it was expensive and I don't really feel as though it was giving all the benefits that my husband's insurance was giving. So I had closed out mine and I'm just on my husband's insurance. And then once you get pregnant, you can't just enroll for insurance again, I think. But anyways, I didn't bother. I know it would have been hard to do like life insurance, because when I was pregnant with the DJ, I went through a really difficult time getting a life insurance policy. I'm not sure if the same would have applied for health insurance, but I didn't bother to try. So I only have I'm only on my husband's health insurance, right? So when I asked her, do you have any idea what, because he's with Sagicor, said, do you have any idea what a Sagicor policy would typically pay towards delivery? She said maybe about, I think she said $40,000, which would mean that I would need to find $260,000 out of pocket, right? Now, some things you just have to weigh and determine whether or not it is worth it for you. So for me, I think I would pay any amount of money to not have to go through it alone based on my experiences in the past. So when I was delivery for DJ, I went into the hospital the Thursday evening at around 6 o'clock. I was 2 centimeters dilated. I stayed at the hospital the whole night in pain. They took me to the labor room 7 a.m. the Friday morning, and I had DJ at 3:43 p.m. So I was induced. It was just the worst experience ever. Nothing to do with the doctors or the nurses. They did their best, but just what I went through, it was the worst experience ever. And so when I got pregnant with Deja, I thought, lightning now strike the same place twice. So I was expecting it to be better. I opted to go to a smaller hospital that would have given me the freedom to have my husband there and everything. So he and I went in one Wednesday morning. My water broke about 2 o'clock the Wednesday morning, and we stayed home a little, made breakfast and everything, because we said I didn't want to go to the hospital as early as the last time and be there for too long. So I remember I brought DJ to school that morning and everything, and then we went to this hospital, right? He was able to be there with me. So I'm admitted, or whatever they call it, or checked in, I don't remember. But I'm there, right? In labor, but I'm not dilating. And basically the same thing or worse happened with Deja that happened with DJ, because I was there in labor. They were inducing me for the entire day, making me walk around, trying to stretch me, like physically stretch me, like I go on a bed, and they do some stretching to try to get me to a higher number. So let's say by this time I was at 4 centimeters, they would say, okay, let me try to stretch you to 5. And they did their best, they honestly did, but it just wasn't working out. The pain was too much. I still wasn't able to deliver the baby. So at about 12 midnight that Wednesday, they decided to take me to this ended up turning out to be a story about my last delivery experiences, even though I started out just to give you updates, but it's important to the story, right? Just to let you understand and have some context as to why it is so important for me to have Denver with me this time around, right? So I remember around midnight, they had to transport me on the ambulance to the regional hospital so that they could deliver the baby there, because they said You're not supposed to, your water shouldn't break more than 24 hours before you deliver. I said that right? So I should not, so my water shouldn't break at 2 a.m. Wednesday morning and 2 a.m. Thursday morning. I still don't deliver yet because it could cause an infection. So 2 a.m. Thursday morning, I still hadn't delivered the baby as yet. I was now at this different hospital, waiting to be admitted and everything, sitting on a bench basically waiting for them to find a bed for me to go on. When they checked me in, they stopped the drip and so on so that the pain would ease up, because you know, once they start inducing you, it's constant pain, and I was being induced for the entire day, so I was in pain all day and a week. So they say I must just sleep, and in the morning they would see if I could rest, and in the morning they would continue to try to deliver the baby, or see how far I had gotten by then on my own. Thursday morning, back in the labor room. So they took me about maybe 7:30, 8 o'clock back to the labor room, or to the labor room, not back to, because I wasn't in there before. So I'm in the labor room now, Thursday morning, 8 o'clock the latest. And I did not have baby until minutes to 2 Thursday. Remember, I was in the next hospital from the previous day. So when I tell you that I don't want to do this again, or I didn't want to do this again, you have an idea as to why I am so fearful, because both experiences were terrible. Like, they were life and death. I did not know that I would come out alive, because it was just constant pain, constant pressure, and I was just alone. I was just alone going through that. I couldn't even pray. I did not remember how to pray. I couldn't even, honestly, not even remember how to say one psalm. All me I do, I cry. I cry till my eyes then swell, me stuff up, I can't breathe. It was just it was just awful, honestly. So, but to go back to the story now, is that I would pay any amount of money to not have to experience that alone this time around, right? So because of that now, takes us to today and what I'm going to do today. I don't think I can afford to pay that $260,000 out of pocket up front like that, right? So I was still looking for other options. And so I have a friend who works at UWI Hospital. And so I called her, and she said, if you had started the public clinic from the get-go, you know, we do allow for the parent, for the dad, the father, to be there at the delivery. But the fact that you are beyond the 16 weeks, their cutoff time for the public clinic is 16 weeks. The fact that I'm beyond the 16 weeks, I can't join the public clinic again. I'll have to book with the private clinic. Now, the private clinic naturally is going to cost more money, or gonna cost money. I don't know what if the public one would have been free or maybe just cheaper. But I was just getting the information for the private clinic. To book in the private clinic, I think I pay $1,500 to book, and then I would have to pay $60,000 for the doctor's fee, and I think $120,000. Did I say $60,000 for the doctor's fee? $120,000 for the hospital fee, and then I don't know what else. And you can pay this over time. I don't remember if I'm getting the figures 100% accurate, but I know it worked out to less than what I would need to pay for Andrews, right? And I can pay in parts, but I would now have to still go in every month. Granted, I'm at a better place now, because even though I'm driving in to go sort out my business by myself, Denver is not with me, and I'm not feeling sick and, you know, like how I was before. Right now, I decided to go with that option. So I'm trying to see how best I can get into the private clinic at UWI, right? So it's not a done deal yet, but that is the decision that we've taken to try to deliver the baby there. I did toy with the idea of what it would be like to have the child overseas, to arrange delivery overseas. Like if I were to go to Canada, for example, I definitely would not do US, would not. That's not 100%. I want my baby to be Jamaican, like born navel string cut here, you know, because I don't know how I love Jamaica bad. I want the baby to be born in Jamaica. But I started thinking about the, you know, what if I should do that in case I don't have an option here to have Denver with me. So that is how I started thinking about that, and I called both my sister and Tavia, and we discussed it, and you know, I came to the conclusion that I want my baby to be born here. The only thing I want is for Denver to be there, and if I can get that through a private booking, it is just the same as if I was to go away, because I'm honestly not concerned about care. I would not say that I had any bad experience with any public hospital with any of the deliveries, not in terms of care, the level of care that the doctors gave to me. So I have no problem with that. I was taken care of. The doctors and nurses, they did their best. I would say they did a good job. So I wouldn't bash them ever. I didn't have a problem with care. So the only issue would be to have my husband there, right? And I was just trying to check out all the options that I could have my husband there, and that is how I came up. I started toying with the idea of going abroad. But I thought, you know, I concluded, for one, I definitely want my baby to be born in Jamaica. I was saying to Tavia that nobody can argue with me about whether or not my children are Jamaicans. You know, like how for her, she would have to defend it. Like people will say, well, if you're never born here, then you're not Jamaican. She would say, well, I raised my kids as Jamaican, whatever. I say, nobody can argue with me. My kids are 100% Jamaican, and I want that for them. But as I said, I just want them to be there. So I was checking, is it worth it? When I calculate like the fare to go, the time that I would have to spend away to wait on the birth certificate, get the passport sorted out, the time that I would have to be away from DJ and Deja, you know, during that process and all of that, I said no, because I think we were calculating like maybe it would be like about $5,000 for delivery over there. I said no. I might as well stay here and pay for whatever private, whatever here. So I don't have the money yet, but by the grace of God, I'm gonna find it. You know, I was saying to Tavia just since this week that hopefully you know, I get support with the registry, and I don't have to find everything out of pocket to buy the stuff that I need for the baby, so that if I do use this money now, or if I have to come up with this money now to do the delivery, I'm not left, you know, kind of hanging like that. But I'm trusting God. He has never failed. I'm really trusting God, and I believe that it will work out. Nothing is concrete yet. I'm on my way now to go to the public clinic that I've been going to get a referral to go to UWI Hospital. So I was supposed to go to the clinic tomorrow, but the midwife was kind enough. I called her and I spoke to her, and she said she would try to sort it out for me today so that I can get the referral, because tomorrow is actually the booking clinic at UWI. So I'm gonna try to get that sorted out. So I know that was a lot. This video turned out to be so much longer than I anticipated. But what I'll do, I will probably wait until tomorrow and see how tomorrow goes, and just give you one video with all the updates, so you know if we're definitely in it for UWI or what's what or not. So that's it for now. I will try to give you more updates by tomorrow, and we'll see how it all turns out. Hi guys, so I'm currently at UWI for the registration, and I think I have a dilemma, and I have to make a decision that I didn't want to make, but I think it's obvious that that's the only choice I really have. So we just had an address from the billings officer from the hospital, right? She said the deposit is 120,000. We were addressed by the sister who would be representing the clinic basically, and we would need to pay a minimum of $20,000 today, but that fee is really 60,000. But the thing that shocked me is that 120,000, which I thought was the full amount, is not. So guys, if you were in a position where, let us say, because we don't know how much the bill could come to, it's 6,500 per day for me. If the baby has to go to the NICU, it's 16,500 per day. If it is a case where the baby has to go to the NICU, then I would have to travel every day from St. Anne to come up here. I had to change my location because people keep on passing and I keep on having to stop the video and don't remember where I was. But anyways, we don't know what the total bill would come to, right? But let us say best case 300,000, 400,000 in total, plus all the trips I would have to make into Kingston, just everything. I'm thinking about everything that is typically free in the public system, right? I'll be paying every single dollar that I'm paying solely, only for the benefit of having Denver there with me. That is the only thing that I care about. That is the only thing that I'm paying for, right? If you had the option, this is how I'm reasoning it out, right? If you were, let's say, if somebody said to you, we'll take care of the delivery for free, we'll do everything for free, take care of the baby for free, but if you want your husband to come in the room, you have to pay, let's say, $400,000 or $300,000. Would you pay it just to have him in the room? Because that's how I'm now reasoning it out, because that is really what I'm paying for. Everything else I could get for free. And then the distance, Denver is concerned about the distance. Anything can happen. What if I'm in labor, come up and we don't reach up in time, anything. Also I think about what else I could be doing with that money, what else that money can do, because I could use my credit card and pay the $120,000, but even right now I need to go to PriceSmart, and that money would go a far way in going to PriceSmart. Guys, I know I'm rambling, but I'm actually just a reason it out, you know, and just to tell you know what is on my mind. But I don't know, I don't feel like it's worth it. That is all I would be paying for Denver to be there with me. Do I just pull up my big girl panties or put on my big girl panties and just tough it out one last time? I did it with DJ and Deja. Just bear it, hold it by myself through the pain and whatever for a couple of hours, and then by the grace of God, hopefully me come out on the other side and see Denver again. I really don't think it's worth it. So right now I had to pay $1,500 for registration, and I think now so me just go ask her kindly if I can cancel my registration and get back my $1,500 and come go over PriceSmart, because I left all the Denver in our office. Me telling you, I just need some time to think. Me really don't know if I do, but I don't know. I don't think it's worth it. I'm not so much worried about the distance, it's the money for me, because I would have to find that money from somewhere to do it, and that is all I'm paying for him to be there with me. Is it worth it? Because I'm the one who really wants, just based on how I guess scared I am or how fearful I am of going through the delivery process again. I'm the one who really wants to be there. Yes, he would want to be there, but it's not so, I don't think it weighs as heavily on him as it does for me, for him to be there this time around. Well guys, honestly, I don't think I'm gonna go through with it. I'm gonna go back in and ask the lady if I can get back my $1,500 and tell them if we can go over Price Smart and use a day since we're there town already. So that's it for this video. I'm gonna make up my mind. I don't think it's worth it. You can let me know, what would you do? Let me know in the comments what you would have done. But for me, I can't do it. I can't afford to do it. I can't do it. It's not worth it. So I'm just gonna go back to my public clinic and have the baby at the public hospital. Alright guys, so a final update and then I'll close off this video. I collected, I kinda registered, but I don't think, because I had already paid for the registration and stuff, so I did the booking, but I don't think I'll be going through with it. I don't think like it's worth that kind of money. Like, I don't think I have the money. If I had it, no problem, I would pay it easily. But you know, people may think I'm rich, but I'm far from it. I'm struggling like most other people. So I don't think I can afford that. I don't think I can manage that. And to think that it is only because I want him there, I don't think I can do it. But one of the things that made me really make up my mind is that I was talking back to the lady that I paid the registration fee to, and she was saying if it is a C-section if it is a C-section, he couldn't come in because that's major surgery. So if I'm paying all of this money and I'm still not guaranteed, because what if it turns out I have to do a C-section? He's still not guaranteed to be there. So I would pay more. I would actually have to pay more for the C-section, and he still wouldn't have been there. So it would have defeated the whole purpose. So I don't know. I guess, like, I trust God that if I were to decide on going through with this, that I would find a way, or the money would somehow, he would provide. And I also feel like it's a lack of trust on my part. I feel like it's a major lack of trust on my part, because I'm so fearful. It's like I would be willing to pay any amount of money and I still don't know how it's going to turn out. Me paying this money don't mean I'm going to have one easier or one better delivery, and then their being there may not necessarily make it any better. So I just tough up myself. I just make up my mind, so like, you know, Davia, tough it out one last time. Trust me, it's a hard decision to make. It's a really hard decision to make, but I think I'm gonna have to just make up my mind to go back to the public health clinic, which I don't have no problem doing, you know, because as I told you before, it's not about the care. It's not about the level of care. I get good, proper care. My midwife is helpful and everything. All of this was just so that he can be in the room. So I'm actually going to relook at my options. The hospital that I went to with Deja, he could have been there for the one that I went to initially. So if I go to that one, then maybe he can be there. So I'm gonna revisit that option and see what happens. But if anything changes, I'll let you know. So that's it for now, guys. I'll see you in another video. Bye guys.